Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Diosa, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been subscribing, and welcome to all the new subbies. And please don't forget to turn on your notification buttons. That way every time I post a video, you guys will never miss a video from me again. Now today I'm about to talk about something important, something very dear to my heart. And I just want to update you guys, just a quick life update on me and me, Isaiah, and the entire family. So recently I think I talked about my feelings. Well, yeah, I spoke about my feelings in a recent vlog, just because then I was in my feelings, I was feeling some type of way, and yeah, I was just having a conversation with Coco, and I was just thinking of a few things, and she happened to catch it on camera. So yeah, I was talking about what me and Coco were talking about is how Isaiah's dad decided to pop up. So yeah, this is after, you know, I've been pregnant and I've had her about, popped up after like 3 weeks after having her. So yeah, 3 weeks after giving birth to Isaiah, he popped up and he basically expressed to me how he wanted to be a part of her life. And in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie, it's something that I wasn't prepared for, because I'd pretty much gone through my whole pregnancy thinking that I was going to be looking after Isaiah on my own, because just the way we've left things, it was just like, you know what, you know, this is the situation I got myself in, and you know, I have my family support, and we were going to work this out and make it work. And him being gone was just like, okay, that's fine. To be honest, he was never really involved in the first place throughout the entire pregnancy, but just him not being in the picture, I'd basically gotten over that, and I'd worked and so hard on my feelings regarding that particular situation and how he wasn't going to be in the picture. I had basically kind of just, I had acknowledged and I had accepted, I had acknowledged and accepted that he wasn't going to be a part of our lives, and that he was gone, and that it was just going to be us. Now, like I'm saying, he then popped up after 3 weeks after Isaiah was born, and said that he wanted to be involved. And guys, I get that saying, every child needs a father, and like mom said in a previous video, if somebody comes and if a father comes and they said that they want to be in their child's life, it is not up to you to deny them that. However, I must say it is a difficult it's a very difficult pill to swallow. It's one of those things where you as a mom and you as an individual, you feel some type of way about this particular person, but however, it is not about you, it is about your child. And so yeah, that's basically what happened. He popped up and he said that he wanted to be involved in her life. He said that, you know, he wanted to work it out, and I can't say no. It wasn't really up to me to say no, because that's really unfair on Isaiah. And when you become a mom, like I'm saying, it's no longer about you, and it's now about your child. But what I can say is, as much as I had accepted that he wasn't going to be in our lives, and I had, you know, moved on from the idea that he was ever going to come back or he was ever going to be part of her life, that's not what happened. And now I'm having to deal with my reality, which is co-parenting with a man who didn't want to know. And I'm having to kind of work through those feelings and kind of process it, I suppose. I think the same way I processed him not wanting to be part of Isaiah's life is the same way I have to process him wanting to be a part of Isaiah's life, because now I'm having to think about accommodating him, and you know, just I just think as much as it was difficult to accept that he wasn't going to be in our lives, it's definitely it's hard as well to accept that he is coming back and he wants to be a part of her life, not necessarily my life, because we're not together. Like, we're, you know, we're just parents at the end of the day. We are parents to Isaiah, but I basically had, you know, my own feelings and thoughts towards him and towards the situation that I had to, you know, process. And now he's back. I have, you know, it's like the same situation over again, just the other way. Do you get what I'm saying? So now I'm processing him being a part of her life and me just allowing that relationship to flourish and allowing that relationship to happen and being accommodating for that relationship to happen. Now, like right now, like I am happy for them to have a relationship, you know, outside of me. Like I'm happy for them to have a relationship and for her to get to know her dad, which is it's nice. Like I feel like everybody deserves to know everyone deserves to know, to have an identity. Everyone deserves to know their heritage. Everybody deserves to know where they come from. So for Isaiah, like I am happy for her, and you know that she gets to have that relationship with her father, which he wants to have, and hopefully in the long run that will be, you know, beneficial, and she will cherish that relationship as well. But before I even reached this decision, you guys, I had to have a conversation with my own mum, because I realized that co-parenting, or the idea of co-parenting, or the idea of somebody saying they don't want to be a part of your child's life and them coming back, it's not easy. It's not easy. It was definitely a difficult conversation. However, it was a conversation that had to be had at some point in time, and I'm glad that me and him have had that conversation now, because yeah, I've accepted it and I'm good with it. However, on that fateful particular day, I was not so happy. I definitely had a lot to say, because this is someone I hadn't spoken to in a long time, and I really didn't agree, or you know, I wasn't subscribed to what his behavior was or what he was doing, and you know, we had to get that out of the way. And in that particular vlog I'm talking about, I was saying to Coco, sometimes as women, as mothers, as much as it's not about you, you know, the fact that he's come back and he wants to be involved in the child's life is a great thing. As much as people say it's not about you, it's about the child, sometimes it is about you, and you need to kind of process your feelings and vent your feelings in order for you to be at a place where you can allow for them to have a relationship without, you know, any background feelings or you feeling some type of way. And I definitely feel like I don't regret the way I handled the situation. I'm not going to say too much about it, but I don't regret the way I handled the situation. I definitely I'm one person who needs to say how they feel, and I did say how I feel to him before we even got to a point where we could agree on what we were going to do. Me and him had to have words. I had to be open, and I had to say how I felt about the situation, how I felt about his actions, what he did, how I felt about him as a person. And also we had to have the important conversation. Aside from how I felt about whatever has happened in the past, we had to work on a way where we had to work on moving forward. And moving forward, we definitely had a conversation about how we were going to move forward. And yeah, so like I'm saying, it was a very difficult conversation to have. And you know, when I had a conversation with him and told him, you know, how I felt, I had to have a conversation with my mum, because this is when it came to the point where I said to go, because sometimes you think you're mature for certain situations when you're not. But it just made me realize that, you know, it's not the first time, but this is definitely one of the highlights. You know, this is definitely one of the those situations in my life that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life, because I've needed my mum. And I'm saying that everybody in life, sometimes there are situations where you just need your mom. And in this situation, I genuinely needed my mom to help me through the situation, to help me handle the situation with poise, with grace, with maturity, with just, you know, I had to find this. I didn't have the strength on my own to kind of accommodate this man and to kind of welcome him back with open arms, that I needed the support of my family to be able to do that. And obviously, as much as I had to do it for Isaiah, I had to factor my feelings in as well as her mom, and you know, and what has happened. And yeah, you guys, that's basically kind of like what's been going on in our lives. Probably when you see this, it will be weeks down the line. I don't know when you'll be able to see this video, but probably when you've seen this, Isaiah would have probably met her dad. They would have, you know, started having a relationship with each other, which is nice. So I'm happy, yeah. But I wanted to highlight that sometimes in life, everybody needs their mothers, and this was definitely one of the situations where I was so happy that mum was able to be there for me, and she was able to guide me, and she was able to give me, you know, the advice that I needed to hear from her, not from anybody else, but I specifically needed to hear it from her. I think she's the only person who would have had an impact on my feelings and how I feel and on how I should act in this particular situation. And the conversation I had with her was exactly that. And she also highlighted like a very like important part, which is, you know, I never knew my dad and where I come from, and to this day I don't know. So will I, you know, do I want the same thing for Isaiah? And to me that was no. And so yeah, this is like another story time, you guys. So yeah, like you guys know, my mom passed away when I was 13, and for like 13 years, yeah, I was led to believe that, you know, well, I wasn't led to believe, it was just never explained to me that my dad just wasn't my dad. Basically, we had different surnames, everything. My sisters had different surnames. I'm the only one who had a particular surname. And you know, growing up, I definitely think when I was like 13, 14, I would think like from like when I was a certain age, it did bother me to a certain extent. But you know, being African, there's just certain things that you don't ask, there's certain things that you don't do, just certain things that are not acceptable. And you know, me questioning my parents on where I come from and why my surname was different from everybody else's was one of those things. I never asked why it was like that, because it's rude. You know, yeah, you're, you know, raised to believe that it's rude. There's certain things you're not supposed to ask, therefore I didn't ask. I just carried on with my life. And I guess because I didn't ask, I was in one of the situations where they felt like they didn't have to explain to me either. And I'm finding myself now at 23, and you know, I've had my own child. I'm having to go through this particular situation, and of course I have to reflect on my own life and that particular situation. And me and Coco were joking, but she was saying, I was like, you know, now 23, looking back, what I know now about family and how it works is you don't have, family is not blood. Family is not blood at all. It's not who you are related to by blood. Like, family is how much you love, cherish, respect, care for each other genuinely. And I've had that. Therefore, it's this whole, you know, my biological dad thing has never ever come into question, because as much as I've had, you know, a tough life, I've also had a good life. And I'm definitely not one of those people who would dwell on situations and talk about situations and think about situations so deep to the point where, you know, it starts to like affect me psychologically, emotionally, you know, physically, however. So yeah, it was just like one of those conversations that I had with mom, and she was talking about how sometimes, you know, Africans, like as African people, like the same way like my mom never addressed who my dad was to me, and to this day I don't know whether it has affected me. Obviously it affected me when I was younger, because I was always thinking, okay, why do I have a different surname to everybody else? And it bothered me for a while. However, now I'm older, you know, now I'm older, I don't know, I have this whole like question mark about who I am. It's not necessarily highlighted in my life where it takes over and I'm constantly thinking about it and it affects me. No, it doesn't, but it is there. Would it be nice to you know, just unravel that and, you know, get to find out a bit more about who I am, where I come from? It would be nice, but what are the chances of that happening? The chances of that happening at this point in time are 0, because I have nowhere to start. And I think I've accepted it and I'm okay with it. So I think the point mom was trying to make, like, I definitely get it, and I wouldn't want the same for Isaiah, especially when I can avoid the situation and it doesn't necessarily have to happen unless I'm actually being stubborn and difficult about the whole thing, and I don't want to be. But yeah, that's basically what's going on, you guys. But yeah, me necessarily, I just think it's hard when you're growing up and you have this surname and you can't really identify, you can't pinpoint where it comes from. That's very, like, it is difficult to a certain extent. I'm not gonna say that, oh yeah, I'm not bothered and it didn't affect me or I didn't think about it. It's definitely something that, you know, I've thought about it over the years, but can I really do anything about it? No, not really. So what do? In life, you just have to buckle it. You just have to toughen up, and you have to move on, and you have to do what you have to do. And it's just one of the situations where I have to do what I have to do. And now it's about my child, and I want Isaiah to have the best life. I want her to have, you know, I want her to have best of both worlds. I want her to get to know me and my side of the family. I want her to get to know her dad, and, you know, whatever then that brings for her, I am happy for that to happen. And basically that's just what's been going on, you guys. So for all of you guys that have had baby dad questions, he wasn't there throughout, you know, my whole pregnancy, and yeah, and now he's decided that he wants to come and be part of her life and do the right thing. Who am I to say no? I'm not God. I'm just me at the end of the day. All you can do is give somebody the chance to do right by your child, and until he does wrong by Isaiah and he, you know, doesn't do as he says he's going to do, me and him, we have no problem. He is there to be a parent to Isaiah, nothing to do with me. I'm just Isaiah's mom, and I'm there to just be an advocate for everything right and everything, you know. I'm just there as an overseer and as someone who is just there to advocate for Isaiah, and, you know, as for someone that should be there to just watch out on the situation, as someone to just look out for. I'm not gonna say watch out, but yeah, I'm just here to be an advocate for Isaiah, and I'm happy for her to have a relationship with her father. So yeah, for you guys that want an update on Isaiah, that's what's going on in our lives at the moment. So that is basically what's going on, guys, and that's what I wanted to tell you guys, and that's what I wanted to update you guys on. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and of course subscribe to this channel. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.